New Deal victories. When coming up with the Social Security Act, Roosevelt wanted legislation that would decide what functions would be locally or federally maintained, address the economic needs of unemployed and elderly, and to put in place permanent programs that would continue his legacy. The Social Security Act was signed into law in 1935. It contained 2 social insurance programs, 3 relief programs, and other smaller programs. In order to ensure that conservatives would pass the Social Security Act, Roosevelt enacted these concessions. Participation was technically voluntary. However, participating employers were given federal tax credits. States collect the payroll taxes and give it to the federal government. The federal government has a fund for each state that is used to pay unemployment benefits. The Federal Emergency Relief Administration gave relief to families, single persons, the elderly, and the working and non-working. Liberals were angry that this was replaced with old age assistance, aid to dependent children, and aid to the blind. Everyone who no longer received care through FARA relied on local or general welfare programs. Liberals were displeased that many people were forced into local welfare programs. The ADC did not give assistance to single-parent families, and funds were only given for the children and not the parent. In southern states, eligibility standards were restrictive, partly to force African Americans into labor. The OOA, ADC, and AD were the first permanent and major federal relief programs. These programs showed acceptance of the fact that local governments needed federal assistance in providing welfare services. Senator Wagner introduced legislation that would allow the circulation of petitions, allow elections to choose a bargaining agent to be monitored by the National Labor Relations Board. Employers could not fire organizers, and employers could not claim that a company suffered when workers wanted elections. Following this legislation, there was an upsurge of union membership, and unions became the pillar of the Democratic Party from 1936 to 1970. $14 billion were allocated to the WPA. 7.8 million people received work relief through it. It helped with the aftermath of floods, hurricanes, droughts, and other natural disasters, and it was run by Hopkins. There was a discrepancy between the wages of skilled workers versus unskilled workers. Jobs were typically given to male head of houses and not women or children. The WPA did not train its workers, and the WPA only helped about 2/3 of the overall population.